You may not notice it, but people are constantly testing you. And the reason why is because of three laws of human nature. The first one is that people will attack you if they think that you're weak. Okay? That's the first law of human nature. They will attack you if they think that you're weak. The second law of human nature is that people will sense your weakness through your subcommunication and the things you've done in the past. And that weakness comes across through smiling a lot, backing down in the past, letting people play you, letting people get away with things, right? They use that to assess whether or not you're weak. And your subcommunication, like I said, right? Signs of trying to please, which I pretty much talk about a lot. And the third law of human nature is that people are after the easiest win. They would deter from you if they sense that if they sense you will harm them in the process of trying to take advantage of you. So if they can sense a little bit of threat from you, if they sense that you could possibly retaliate and hurt them as much as they hurt you, they're gonna back off. And backing off in this instance, in terms of dating, is them losing interest. Yeah, that's right. Some people are just there to take advantage of you, and if you don't let them, they just leave. Okay? Early sex. Now, you guys might hear me say all the time that guys will not judge you based on sex. Okay? But this is more historically, right? Back then, a lot of back then, and it sounds dark, but a lot of the ways that women got impregnated back then was through rape. That's just a fact. I mean, it's just throughout history, one of the ways that guys got women was through rape, unfortunately. And what, actually, let me read it to you because it's actually better if I read it rather than me actually explaining it wrong, right? So it says, this is from a book called The Moral Animal. It says, these are my notes. Rape is a common form of impregnating. So the woman who resists the best gets the best rapey genes. Just like sperm that get killed off on their way to the rapist, you want the woman who's able to resist the most. It's a good trait. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, if you're a rapist, and it sounds crazy, like seriously, but if you're a rapist, you want the woman who resists the most because she's the strongest. You get what I'm saying? You don't want the woman who easily submits because she can possibly pass on genes of being submissive. You get what I'm trying to say? So other things that a man will encourage early sex to see a woman's resistance. Okay, to get it to this modern era, to see a woman's resistance. If she says no, it's a good thing. If she accepts, she fails, right? So guys back then used to test you by trying to have sex with you. And that's why guys will have sex with you and then judge you. It's because that's actually something that comes from back in the days, that if a woman doesn't resist hard enough, it just means she doesn't have good genes. A guy wants a woman who resists. A guy wants a woman who's strong. A guy wants a woman who can control her emotions. Now, in today's society, this doesn't apply unless you're religious, okay? This one does not apply. I just gave you guys that one because that was actually one of the biggest things that people do to judge people, okay? Again, it doesn't apply as much as before, okay? Now, if you're banging the whole football team, okay, then that's different, but it just doesn't apply. Because a lot of the times, we live in societies where people don't even know us. Back then, if you did that, somebody would have found out. So it's kind of, it just doesn't apply that much today. And because of the politics today, they're encouraging women to have as much sex as they want, female empowerment, which is it's totally fine with me. But that it's just that one rule doesn't apply. So what's the second thing that guys use to test a woman? They will look for signs of weakness in the past and see if they could exploit it. So as you're talking to them about your relationships, some guys, if they notice that you dated an abuser and that you stayed with him, they're gonna say, I could use that against her. If they notice that you're somebody who is easily manipulated by you telling him how your husband or your ex-boyfriend used to hit you, used to do that kind of stuff, abusers see that as a fucking gold mine. They get happy when you say that. It's actually something they want to hear. So unfortunately, if you went through a lot of abuse, I would recommend you not tell the guy in the beginning. I honestly, because some guys would just are looking for weakness. They're looking for weak targets. And one of the easiest ways to find out if somebody's weak is by literally letting them tell you the story. So Keep that to yourself. Bring that up a few weeks or even a month or two later to garner sympathy. Like, seriously. But if you do it in the beginning, a guy who's an abuser, their ears will perk up. They're like, oh, really? Oh, he hit you. Okay. And they're going to say, okay, that's a girl that I could do that to because that's happened in the past. Don't talk about that kind of stuff. Okay. So the third one, by pulling away and seeing your response. This is the simplest one. Guys will literally pull away just to see whether or not you're going to over pursue. Guys will literally pull away just to see whether or not you're going to get emotional or start responding fast. Because to them, it'll show signs of weakness. Guys will not respond for a long time to see whether or not you're going to double text. And you guys might say, I don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, when you don't like the guy. But watch a guy that you like all of a sudden start doing this. You're going to start chasing hard. So I don't give a fuck if it's The Rock, if it's Obama, if it's The Rock. I don't care who it is. If the guy pulls away, either he's testing, or he's actually not interested. React the same way. Don't fall for it. Don't over pursue. Always go into a relationship assuming that he's gonna pull away, so that when he does do that, you don't say, "Oh my God, I didn't see it coming," which causes you to lose control. No, say, "Oh, that's what I expected," right? Because it's almost like a practical negativity, where you are negative in a rational way, not negative out of reaction to trauma. Does that make sense? So yeah, when a guy pulls away, and that means pulling away physically, in terms of you even seeing him, pulling away in terms of how long he takes to respond, pulling away in terms of his emotional presence, like when he's there with you, he's not really showing too much interest, all that kind of stuff. Anytime you feel like he's pulling away in the beginning, just let him be. Let him be. You're not ruining it. You're not letting him walk away. Motherfuckers are not stupid. They know what they're doing. 4, by hurting you in small ways and seeing your reaction. Okay? So what they'll do is that they'll inflict pain. Okay? They'll try to gaslight you to see whether or not, or they'll cancel a date to see how you're gonna respond. They'll be late to see how you're gonna respond. They'll name call you or even hit you to see whether or not you'll pull away. They're testing to see what are the limits. It's almost like when you have a new teacher, a new substitute teacher at school. Kids will test that substitute teacher to see whether or not they could get away with things. Okay? So that's why I say find out the smallness of disrespect. And from the beginning, call it out. Because again, people will naturally try to control every circumstance. Humans are always looking for power. When I say power, I mean simple control. That means power in terms of being a good basketball player and controlling the flow of the game. Power in terms of controlling your emotions at the flick of the switch, right? All of those things are different forms of power that people crave, because serotonin, the neurochemical that you feel when you get respect, is stimulated when somebody respects you. And some people associate complete submission with power, right? So what they'll want to do, they can't just start abusing you, hitting you, or even just emotionally abusing you. They first got to see whether or not you are the right victim, right? So what they'll look for a target who's bored. They'll look for a target who doesn't have a life. They'll look for a target who doesn't have much things to do, who's isolated, who doesn't have a lot of family. They'll look for a target who has emotional traumas of the past, drug addictions, all that kind of stuff. And what they'll do is that they'll try to hurt you to see if you tolerate it, to see your pain tolerance, how much you're willing to tolerate from them. And if you forgive them without calling them out and making them pay a price, their mouth are just going to start salivating. They're going to say, I found my victim. And you're communicating that because you're not willing to stand up for yourself. You don't know your boundaries. You don't know what's respect and disrespect because you're so used to those boundaries being broken from the start. Okay? So you have to be very difficult in the beginning. Tolerate nothing. As small as it is, call it out, nip it in the butt. Let him know you're not that person. Because what will happen is, like I said earlier, if he notices from the beginning you're not somebody to play with, a lot of times they'll leave. Because they're not there to love. They're there to hurt. And the last one is they'll test how gullible you are. Like I said in my previous videos, a man's responsibility is to lie about his value. Think about it from a man's perspective. I need to pass on my genes. I'm not a high value guy, but I need to pass on my genes. Most guys are not high value. So the guys who are low value, but are able to pass on their genes are good liars. And so natural selection promotes whatever gets you to pass on your genes, even if it's lying. So a guy's job is literally guys are designed to lie. I mean, it's just that simple. I'm generalizing, but you get what I'm trying to say. So their job is to lie about their value, and your job is to identify false advertisement. Be able to identify when guys are lying about what their values are. So gullibleness, believing everything you see, is the worst trait you can have as a woman. So a guy will see whether or not you're gullible. And one of the things that they will try to do is they'll lie to you. They'll give you bullshit excuses. Or they'll see how much you like them and how much cognitive bias you have towards them. And it goes back to the last things that I say. They'll try to test you by being late, by giving you bullshit excuses, by telling you they love you, and then by telling you you're the only one for me, and then disappearing for a few days. And unfortunately, a lot of women are gullible because they choose to be gullible, not because it's in your DNA. And that's because you like them so much that you're willing to believe the bullshit. You pretty much make yourself gullible because you want this to work out so much. So you'll believe the lies. You'll lie to yourself through him lying to you because you know he's lying. You just like him. And when a guy finds out you're gullible, man, like it's first of all, he doesn't respect you. He thinks you're a child. When somebody's gullible, you don't respect them. You see them as a it's almost like you see them as a fucking, like, as a child. Like, you see them as a child. How can you respect somebody who's so gullible? And because, like I said before, I remember I had a girl a few years ago, not even a few years ago, it was last year, where we had, she would come over, give Father Alex, to be very polite, some sloppy toppy. If you don't know what sloppy toppy is, I'm not going to tell you what the fuck that is. And one time she was doing the thing, and then I was talking on the phone, and sometimes she would let me. I was talking on the phone, and sometimes she just lets me talk on the phone, okay? And I was talking to a girl, and she called me randomly. I thought it was gonna be like from my job or something, but she called me. I was like, "Who's this?" "Hey, it's me, Melissa, from tonight." "Oh, hey. Oh, shit, I didn't know it was you." Right? She just called me from a different number. She was asking me, "Are you free tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's hang out." I didn't know that. I mean, I would have not called. I would have not picked up if it was her, to be honest with you. And then, as I took an Uber with her back home to her apartment, because I was in my apartment, and I got in an Uber with her because I needed to go see my aunt because she lived near my aunt. So as we were in the Uber, she was like, "Alexis," and mind you, she says she doesn't speak English, and I was speaking English. Were you making a date with a girl while I was sucking your dick? And I was like, what the fuck? I thought this girl only spoke Spanish. What the fuck? Like, how the hell she become bilingual now? Like, I was like, no. She was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, no, I swear to God, I wasn't making a date when you suck my dick. Why would I ever do that? I mean, come on, girl. She was like, "Oh, okay." But it's kind of like, when she said okay, I'm like, damn, girl. I mean, my God, put up some resistance. When she said okay to that shit, I lost so much respect for her because I knew damn well she knew I was lying. I knew she knew I was lying, and she still believed me. How could I respect her? How could I respect her? And the next one is not following through on your threats. Because after that, like I said before, she came over the next day and she was like, "I'm not sucking your dick tonight." And I'm like, oh, okay. "Oh, you're not? Oh, okay." Okay, and long story short, like I said before, you know what happened. Not to be vulgar, but follow Adam, And when she did that, I was like, I lost even more respect for her. Ladies, don't be fucking telling guys you're gonna do something and then not do it. because they're waiting to see whether or not you'll follow through. That is the number one of the easiest ways to lose people respect is not following through on your threats, because it just shows weakness. Remember, people will attack you if they think you're weak. People will attack you if they think you're weak. It's just that simple. And that's a sign of weakness, gullibleness, not following through on your words. You're asking for men to not respect you. You're asking for men to test you. For no reason, you're asking for it. You heard what he said? He said men abuse women because they're asking for it. Well, not entirely. But if you're acting gullible and believing everything people tell you, you're asking for manipulators to come into your life. It's just that simple. All right. Anyways, this is Alex Show. Talk to dating coach. If you need to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org to work with your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're going to be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one would teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women of power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship. And this, a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you can read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so most likely I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video. Right there, you'll see it, and you can pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. Oh, I'm closing the channel.